The Shrine of the Black Madonna here in Detroit is an interesting church for many reasons. First of all, it has a Black Madonna. Secondly, it celebrates a black theology. And third, it celebrates holidays in an interesting way, a black way, as it should be. Case in point, Women's Day, October 25th. Here at the Shrine, the theme was New Directions for Black Women in the Liberation Struggle.
Traditionally in black churches, there's a Women's Day, which has no relevance to anything that's important to black people. It's just a fundraising activity by black churches where women go out and try to raise as much money as they can. We are concerned with making the Women's Day a festival which symbolizes, points out, highlights the importance of black women to the church and to the total liberation struggle.
What time is it? Then let the black nation rise. Then let the black nation rise.
Let the black nation rise.
What I'm going to say will be in two parts. The first part will be talking about black women in the struggle, and it's called Queens of the Universe, because black women be queens. If they could just see their beauty, you see. We black women have been called many things: foxes, matriarchs, sapphires, sisters, and recently queens. I would say that black women have been a combination of all them words, because if we examine our past history at one time or another, we've had to be like them words be saying. But today, there are some words we can discard. There be some we must discard for our own survival, for our own sanity, for the contributions we must make to our emerging black nation. And we must move to as the only queens of this universe to sustain, keep our sanity in this insane, messed up, die-conscious, pill-taking, masochistic, misan-orientated society gets to be dealt with. 'Cause that's us. You all hear me? Us. Black women, the only queens of this universe. Even though we be stepping unqueenly sometimes, like it ain't easy being a queen in this unrighteous world full of Miss Anns and Mr. Anns, but we steady trying.
Women have been traditionally, historically, tremendously important to any oppressed people in the sense of making it possible for an oppressed people to survive, making it possible for them to pass on some of the traditions and culture of a people when the existence of a man was seriously threatened from day to day and from week to week and month to month. And so really for that reason we call the church the Shrine of the Black Madonna to symbolize not only the religious significance of Mary as the mother of Jesus, but the significance of all black women and the generations of struggle and sacrifice that black women have made in making it possible for black people to survive and come to this day. It's also important that we realize that in this day the role of black women has changed because we're much more clear about what the liberation struggle is all about, and black women have the task now of creating young black people, black children and black adults who can participate in a liberation struggle that seeks for independence and for freedom and for community control and the things which are important to people who are seriously engaged in liberation.
Speaks of revolution, we don't have to say that revolution, what are we doing now trying to change things? We didn't just wait until now to start trying to change things.
That evening, the women put together a festival that spoke to the church members about blackness and history of black revolution. Recognition was awarded the most interesting presentations, and a soul food dinner was served. A black celebration for a Women's Day and a black church, the Shrine of the Black Madonna. This is George Martin in Detroit for Black Journal.
Welcome to the Shrines of the Black Madonna, where we believe in you being your best self. Come with an open mind and an open heart. We invite you to partake in our worship experience. social media platforms. Giving is an opportunity for us to build community, ministry, health, and bestseller. Tap into your greatness that God has already placed inside of you and share it with the world. We would love to see you more often. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I believe that human society stands under the judgment of one God, revealed to all and known by many names.
God's creative power is visible in the mysteries of the universe.
And the revolutionary Holy Spirit,
which will not long permit men to endure injustice, nor to wear the shackles of bondage, in the rage of the powerless, when they struggle to be free.
And in the violence and conflict, which even now threaten to level the hills and the mountains.
I believe
that Jesus, the Black Messiah,
was a revolutionary leader
sent by God to rebuild the Black nation Israel,
to liberate African people from powerlessness and from the oppression,
brutality, and exploitation of the white Gentile world.
I believe
that the revolutionary spirit of God embodied in the Black Messiah
is born anew in each generation,
and that Black Christian nationalists constitute the living remnant of God's chosen people
in this day, and are charged by God with responsibility for the liberation of African people.
I believe
that both my survival and my salvation depend upon my willingness to reject individualism.
And so I commit my life
to the liberation struggle of African people
and accept the values, ethics, morals, and program of the Black nation, defined by that struggle and taught by the Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church.
We had Black literature class just for the Black students at that all-white high school. That's when I was introduced to all the Black authors. Then I went to a HBCU and had classes on Black authors and so it was a real thing in the 70s. But in the 2000s, Black history ain't being taught nowhere. So I like I said, I think it's a good thing because it motivated the Black church to say, hey, we need to start teaching our own history to our own children. That's something that should have been done long time ago anyway. Every Black church should be teaching some Black history and culture. Every Black church should be doing a lot of things that Black churches don't do. I see it as a positive. I think the less the government does for Black people, the better. Right. We'll be forced to start to be self-determined. We really don't find out in November how self-determined we are going to have to become.
And I think that's what happened down through the years when you look at not only history but other aspects of society, this system. When they take away the economics and money, they got to find ways to
When we were so-called set free after emancipation, we had to figure it out, and we did.
Right. We are survivors, for sure.
One door closes, another one opens. There's always opportunity in every conflict. There's always some opportunity. So it's about seizing a moment, digging into our ingenuity and creativity and resourcefulness, which we know how to do.
Which is supported by history. I mean, you can go back down through the Bible and find the same stories of people doing the same things. So it's not new.
But the real issue is who's controlling the narrative. The real issue is who has the power to say, who has the power to define reality. That's really what that whole to-do is about. It's got very little to do with Black history and Black literature.
The vision of our founder, Reverend Blvd. Clegg Jr., was to build a Pan-African world community with power. Part of our program and mission includes building a Pan-African communication network, which allows us to interact, collaborate, and engage with our brothers and sisters across the African diaspora. The Pan-African Orthodox Christian Church Virtual Village consists of platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, eBlast, Zoom, and others which enable us to channel our collective energy and resources toward the transformation and salvation of African people globally. Bila Shrine Without Walls, is the newest component of the virtual village, initiated to grow our best self movement and spread the gospel of Black liberation. Bila establishes a portal for brothers and sisters across the African diaspora, offering classes, content, programming, and fellowship for seekers outside of our geographical faith centers. We strive to elevate Black consciousness and communal well-being for the Pan-African world community.
Get connected and stay connected online with the Shrine of the Black Madonna Virtual Village. Worship, join, learn, give, connect with us, all in one place in just 3 easy steps. 1. Go to our landing page via our Linktree URL or QR code. 2. Browse our selections and decide what you want to do and where you want to go. 3. Click on your choice and we'll take you right there. Yes, in just 3 easy steps, you can worship, join, learn, give, all in one place. So get connected and stay connected with us online at the Shrine of the Black Madonna Virtual Village.
Into dust. And I'm not trying to scare you, but open your eyes to the damaging power of unchecked human individualism. But we can also see the devastating effects of individualism in the power-crazed actions of big tech companies like Google, Apple, Amazon, Meta, and Microsoft, as they introduce new technologies that cripple our ability to do the critical thinking we need to do and to make decisions that are in our own best interest and the best interest of other people. I don't know if anybody has noticed, but we are living in a world where technology, especially the World Wide Web and social media, have reshaped life everywhere on this planet, morally, spiritually, socially, politically, economically, and environmentally. Yet with all of its radical impact, it has all come at the expense of human decency, integrity, and intelligence. And it has come with no guidelines, no rule book, no formal process for human engagement with machines and IT. Why? Because big tech companies only want to make more money and have more power and more influence and more control. They are not concerned about the defenseless child addicts that they are creating, who are becoming zombies to a screen from the unripe age of 2 years old and 4. Nor do they care about the diminished cognitive human capacity to process and to think and discern information as a result of IT and AI and Siri and Alexa and Einstein doing all of our thinking for us. Much like the period of the judges in biblical times, technology has diminished our social governance structure and left every individual as a highly opinionated judge over what's good and what's bad and what's right and what's wrong and what's false and what's the truth for everybody but themselves. It has changed our lifestyle, our values, reshaped how we parent our children, and even how we view our identity as human beings, disrupting the entire human social paradigm. Every baby born into this world is born with a masculine or a feminine essence. But many young people today have no formal identity formation process, spending the majority of their waking life in a non-gendered virtual reality of anonymity, make-believe, and let's pretend, where you can be anything you want to be.
Their spiritual ancestors, that an African Messiah is born in each generation. Likewise, recalling that generations before Jesus, when Simon Maccabee drove enemies out of Jerusalem, people celebrated by waving palm branches because a great enemy had been crushed and removed from Israel, as recorded in the first book of the Maccabee, chapter 13:51. Like the revolutionary warriors before him, Jesus, our African Messiah, was born to a people and a land under imperial occupation by a pagan foreign power that alternately terrorized, innovated, and seduced its kinsmen, was neither lost nor a demigod. Like our 21st century former gaslighter-in-chief in his orange flesh and the Roman governor of Judea, Pontius Pilate, both castigated the prefect for their briberies, insults, robberies, outrageous and wanton injuries, executions without trial, constantly repeated, ceaseless and supremely grievous cruelty. Pilate, Trump, used funds from temple treasury to build an aqueduct or a wall around Jerusalem. This time, when protesters amassed, Pilate dispatched plainclothes soldiers and MAGA supremacists to infiltrate the crowd. On his signal, they removed clubs and military-style rifles hidden in their garments and beat many of the protesters to death. Undoubtedly, Jesus, our African Messiah, did not pass unmolested through this world. He was not an apparition nor myth. He was flesh and blood. Like all of us, he belonged to a Pan-African people. It is through our ancestral and spiritual interconnectedness that allows the intimate presence and power of Jesus to expand through all of us, the rejected or abandoned by the world, just as he was. And that is why Jesus is an African. His identity incorporates African people as his own. He thereby identifies with us. As we are, he is. As we are, he is.
prophets and powerful themselves, they have made it priority number one to put a potentially powerful people to sleep, to keep us unaware, uninformed, incapacitated, and inactive, and then to keep us there. In the Bible, when Pharaoh feared the enslaved Hebrews were becoming too numerous and potentially too powerful, he ordered them to make bricks without straw, to keep them so overworked, so busy, so focused on serving massa on that 9 to 5 that they had no time or energy to see that they already possessed the power to stand up and organize and fight for their freedom. When the world was being introduced to the fact that that African nation known as Egypt, ancient Kemet, was the place that really gave birth to religion and art and science and civilization, the field of Egyptology was founded specifically to turn black Egypt white, to keep us in the dark about our ancestral greatness. Kenneth Stamp, in his classic book, The Peculiar Institution, dedicated an entire chapter, chapter 4, to make them stand in fear, dedicated an entire chapter to the ways those who enslaved our ancestors used specific processes so our people would sleep on their power. There are tons of examples in America and across the globe of those who seek to steal labor, steal innovation, steal ideas, steal the blood, sweat, and tears from others, investing millions of dollars and manpower into keeping those they fleece asleep. It's become so much a part of life that this theme pops up in movies and TV shows and novels all the time. Keeping us humans asleep to our oppressed condition is what the Matrix was all about. Humanity being enslaved so exquisitely that we didn't even know it. We were totally unaware, absolutely asleep. Octavia Butler, in her Afrofuturistic parable series, Parable of the Sower, Parable of the Talents, is all about people so oppressed by corporations and governments that they are sleeping on their potential power if they ever learn how to come together and work together. Lord have mercy. The message of Butler's series is we've got to wake up or die. One of the most compelling stories from the Game of Thrones was Jon Snow being kept in the dark, unaware of his powerful lineage and the game-changing potential of what could happen if he woke up, if he found out, if he was awakened to who he really was. And just FYI, Jon Snow and his kin, the Starks of Westeros, those were the black folk of Game of Thrones. But that's another sermon. But even with the gargantuan, Herculean, multi-generational effort to keep us, God's original people, to keep us asleep, Lord have mercy, still we rise, still we push, still we fight to awaken from that sleep of death.
Who he's describing? He describes a hillbilly America. They are not influenced by new ideas or developments or experts or scientific discoveries or people from other backgrounds. It's a cold world. But they have been raised to expect a privileged position in society and a good paying job by virtue of their white status. This, as far as they're concerned, is their American birthright. Now they feel they're rapidly falling behind. They see people from other countries and cultural backgrounds prospering and flourishing in a multi-ethnic, multicultural America. They got HGTV. They see these black people buying these $1 million homes. They feel betrayed and angry. They feel they've been sold out by their leadership, the professionals, the educated, and the establishment white folks. They believe these elites have moved their jobs overseas, made trade deals that benefit others at their expense, and elected politicians that have sold them out. They feel defeated, hopeless, and overwhelmed, living in an epidemic of alcohol, drug addiction, and suicide. These are people who have been known to overdose in the morning, be revived by EMS, and then overdose again in the evening. To these people, Donald Trump was a gift from heaven. Tell the truth. He rode in on clouds of glory. He was just the energy boost they wanted and needed. He was just the tonic the doctor ordered for their sagging self-image and self-esteem. He ushered in a new era of unapologetic white nationalism. He gave a defiant voice to white fear. He said what he wanted to say. He did what he wanted to do. He didn't give a damn about political correctness or artificial politeness or what the media or the professional politicians thought about what he said and did. He normalized hate speech, and white people loved it. His rallies were must-see TV. He was a white man's white man. He was what they used to be and longed to be again. So they ignored their moral compass, abandoned any standards or character criteria, and coronated this horrible human being as the savior of whiteness, the Peckerwood Messiah, and the MAGA movement was born. The white nationalist cult, driven by fear, was born. And now everybody on the Trump train. There ain't but two sides. Anybody talk about what I got something to think about, you are a fool. This is way past personality. There ain't but two sides. And if you ain't on our side, you against us.
Tell the truth.
For the people of the land are terrified of us. Today, white fear is off the charts and is driving the bus.
Yeah.
The corporate media can't talk about this. It's corporate media. NBC is corporate media. All the people out here, customers. They can't tell you the truth.
Tell them.
CNN is corporate media. They'll mess with their bottom line if they tell you the truth. This ain't about conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican. It ain't about none of that. This is about white nationalism being predominant in this country. This country is ours, not yours, and we're willing to fight if you try to take it from us. And if you show up at the ballot box, there's more y'all than it is of us, you trying to take it from us. And we got a right to defend ourselves. Today, white fear is off the charts and driving the bus. And it's suppressing votes and banning books and shooting unarmed black people and destroying public education and ending affirmative action and outlawing DEI and seeking to undo the civil rights struggle. White fear is having a time. And they said that one of their primary motivations is a desire for retribution and revenge.
Yes.
Retribution for what? Revenge for what? They've had every advantage in this country for 400 years. They stole the land from the Indians and stole the labor from black people. They've had affirmative action for white people for 400 years. They have almost all the money, almost all the power, and almost all the opportunity to this day. Donald Trump is talking about retribution and revenge when he ought to be grateful that he's lucky enough to be in a country where a white man, ignoramus, could get rich and become president. If there's anybody that got a right to talk about retribution and revenge, it's black people. Donald Trump is wholly unqualified for any responsible position in any society. And he is running in a dead heat against a candidate that he has no business even being on the same stage with. Donald Trump is unqualified to be a teacher, a policeman, a fireman, a garbage man, a dog catcher. His application for employment will be rejected by any employer in the world based on his track record and his convictions. Yet he is the candidate for the most powerful position in the world, and his people not only support him, they regard him as the second coming of Jesus Christ. All because white fear has driven them out of their mind. Make it plain, make it plain.
Family, if what you heard in the message moved or inspired you to do something, then don't hesitate to reach out to us and discover how you can become an agent for change and an instrument of social, political, economic, and environmental justice together with us as a follower or subscriber of our Best Self movement. So don't delay. Just go to our web link, www.linktr.ee/SOBM. That's Linktree/SOBM. And get involved in our Pan-African global struggle for dignity, self-determination, power, and freedom today. And please, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment to help us grow our virtual Pan-African village with our people everywhere. Ashe and Amen.